Time now for Reporters Roundtable to put the headlines in perspective. Bud and Ross both still with us, and Berna Dean Steptoe, our political producer, is back as well. So thanks for being back with us as well, too.
Glad to be back.
Talk about the rain. It did not deter Democrats from getting out to vote. Let's show you the early voting numbers. This is Dallas County alone, comparing the last two midterms. February 2014, 2,500 Democrats in Dallas came out on day one. These are day one numbers. This last week, 4,023 of them came out. That's a pretty big jump. Question is, Berna Dean, we'll start with you. What's driving this turnout? What races?
Democrats want to win. However, I think a lot has to do with President Trump as well, because I think that the low turnout or the desire not to come out the last election, and now they're determined to put new people in, but also keep in mind that you have a number of judges who are running. And I think what is even more significant in this is that it was raining. And typically the weather has an impact or influence on turnout, and you still had high turnout.
That's a good point, and Democrats just don't usually vote.
You've got Democrats enthusiastic about Beto. They want to come out and do something with Beto, even if it's just a primary where he only has a negligible opponent. In Tarrant County, you have the Senate District 10 race. Democrats were up quite a bit in Tarrant County. They were up about 80%. Republicans were off about 20%. They don't have any real races at the top of the ticket. It's a bold move for Democrats.
Ross, what are you seeing statewide, Ross, and what's the takeaway from this?
Well, I'm going to be the cold water note here. You know, you've got 2 weeks of early voting and you've only seen a couple of days. This could even up very quickly. In the past couple of cycles, the number of Republicans voting in primaries have been about double the number of Democrats voting. But to the point here, you know, the Republicans at the top of the ticket don't have real fights right now, and the Democrats have a couple of fights going at the top of their tickets. So that could be driving some of this.
Let's shift off to the race for State Senate. Bob Hall and Cindy Burkett, they exchanged some pretty dirty ads, Bud, about domestic violence allegation from the senator's divorce 20 years ago.
Right.
Is this helping either side?
Ages ago, and she brought out these domestic violence allegations. You know, Bob Hall's response was interesting. He started out by saying it was ugly and mean and dirty and nasty, and then he said the judge threw it out. It wasn't a very well-written response. You need to say right up front, I didn't do it. I'm not sure his response was as effective as her ad.
How close is this race, Berna Dean?
Well, I don't know how close it is, but I think that the climate is so different in terms of the Me Too movement that he has to be very careful in how he deals with that, because you have that the women's vote and the domestic violence is very, very prominent.
Ross, there's pretty dirty races going on up here. This is one of them.
Yeah, it sure is. I mean, there are a bunch of dirty races going on, and a lot of that is they're trying to move voters away from a more popular incumbent. The danger in Hall's response is that he's in danger of talking about these allegations more than Cindy Burkett has, and it may be the only thing some voters know about the race.
Let's switch off to the national debate right now about arming teachers. But, you know, this is something that State Rep Jason Villalba got passed here a couple of sessions ago, the school marshal program. Is that the best way to, can we employ that nationwide on a larger scale to make schools safer?
You know, the school marshals in Texas have a lot more training than an average concealed carry permit. We have them in Argyle, Van, McKean, several local districts. Yeah. It seemed to really work pretty well. And, you know, the marshal is spending most of their time teaching. It's actually kind of works better than having an officer in the school who, in a lot of small towns, let's face it, spends a lot of time writing tickets for littering or policing the fire lane or bothering the kids more than defending the kids.
30 seconds left here, Berna Dean. Is this going to happen?
Possibly, but I wonder why they're not looking at metal detectors as well. You don't have this type of school violence in inner cities where there are metal detectors as well as police.
That's a good point, Ross. Some urban districts really don't have those issues so far that we haven't seen.
Right. You have to get a political solution here, which I think this is, and then find out whether it's a practical solution, and we're just going to have experience tell us that.
Gotcha. We appreciate it. Thank you guys very much.